It's the fallout from Money in the Bank as Daniel Bryan, the SmackDown general manager, make his epic return and talks controversy evolving around the Money in the Bank women's matchup. Of course, we have Shinsuke Nakamura versus Dolph Ziggler, an intriguing interest in an interaction with the Viper, Randy Orton, and Jinder Mahal, the WWE Champion. All this plus so much more as we cover on this week's edition of the SmackDown Rebound. Hello everybody, my name is Connor, aka OKAYFABE, your official SmackDown video correspondent for One Wrestling and OneWrestling.com's videos YouTube channel. Thank you guys for tuning back into another edition of the SmackDown Rebound. We're going to cover everything from SmackDown Live this week for June the 20th, 2017. Of course, the Fallout show from Money in the Bank. Thank you guys for tuning back in here, right here on OneWrestling.com. And of course, One Wrestling Videos YouTube channel. If you guys haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button for amazing 24/7 wrestling news and coverage. Of course, make sure you follow myself and the entire OneWrestling.com family and our various social media. Of course, myself at OKAYFABE, the Big Slam Nation, Big Ray, and of course, all the others, including the legendary, the iconic Mr. Bill After. All the links, again, down in the description box below. Also, while you're down there, hit in the comment section, let us know what you guys thought of this week's SmackDown Live. Again, fallout from Money in the Bank. Very interesting show, to say the least. We actually had Carmella, the Miss Money in the Bank winner, kicking off the show with Ellsworth, who had just a fantastic time. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I thought Carmella and Ellsworth, or was it Carmelsworth? Almost sounds like Carmelo, like the caramel chocolate thing, maybe? I don't know. Maybe just needed, maybe. That's great marketing strategy. I'm getting off topic. Point being, Carmella and Ellsworth kicked things off and basically riding on how the fact that there has been controversy around Carmella's name ever since she won the Miss Money in the Bank ladder match 2 nights ago at Money in the Bank. Of course, the controversial ending with with Ellsworth grabbing the briefcase and dropping it to her. She basically says that, you know, she doesn't care. She's not here for girl power. She's not here for that. She won because technically the match is no disqualification. She said, hey, other people have been involved in Money in the Bank ladder matches that were never in it. Remember Kane in 2014 when he helped Seth Rollins? How about 2015 when Bray Wyatt interfered and cost Roman Reigns the match? But because what happened with her, everyone's going to get all pissed off at Twitter. It's not going to happen. She says that she's Miss Money in the Bank, and there's not a damn thing any of us can do about it, and Daniel Bryan will make the right decision. Of course, throughout the entire evening, we did see Daniel Bryan be confronted by both Charlotte, Tamina, Natalya, and Becky Lynch, all making their vie for him to do the right thing. Not necessarily saying what needs to happen, but they did emphasize that they should think that he should strip Carmella of the Miss Money in the Bank briefcase. We're going to cover that in just a little bit. But first and foremost, we do have an intriguing singles action between Big E and Jimmy Uso. Great promo from the New Day where Big E is dubbed the deputy of the Usos Penitentiary. I love New Day. I'm just sorry. They're just absolutely fantastic and entertaining. I love just like the chemistry with all of them together. It's fantastic. Anyway, not really a whole much to go into this one. Big E getting some shots in at first, and Jimmy coming back, but then almost in a repeat of what happened at Money in the Bank. Jimmy and Jay attempted to leave the area and actually leave via countout and walk away from the match, but Kofi diving on top of Jey Uso and Xavier Woods blocking Jimmy from leaving. Jimmy gets back into the ring, goes for a super kick. Big E ducks underneath and hits the big ending to get the win. So New Day still coasting on that steam line, heading into possibly another tag team title match against the Usos. But another interesting piece happens later on, which we're going to talk about in just a few minutes. We do see Daniel Bryan again confronted by Natalya and Tamina, talking about again how he should do the right thing. Back from commercial break, we see Naomi, who is interviewed about the controversy and says how unfortunate it is. James Ellsworth is a deciding factor. Hell no, but she's sure Daniel Bryan will make the right decision. Then Lana rolls up and says, what about her? Naomi says she should be thanking Carmella because if it wasn't for her and, you know, her man, Naomi would have lost the championship, and the SmackDown Women's Championship would be truly ravishing. She wants a rematch, and Naomi calls her thirsty and says she has lost and felt the glow, but because she's a fighting champion, she's getting another rematch next week, which is very odd to me, considering that McMahon basically said that Lana needs to earn her title opportunities, yet now this is the second SmackDown Women's Championship match she has been granted, and still, where is my handsome Ruru? Where is my Ruru? I miss my Ruru so much. Anyway, we also, speaking of Money in the Bank, we see an intriguing interview with Randy Orton about what happened at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view involving Jinder Mahal, the Sin Brothers, and of course, Cowboy Bob Orton, who was at ringside during the match. He's asked about the final moments of the match and said he lost control. He saw red when the Sin Brothers put his hands on his dad. Instead of staying focused, he beat himself. He's been there before when it was the Authority, Evolution, Legacy. He's always led the numbers game and before, and he can deal with that, but he can't handle people disrespecting his family. He says it's no longer about winning the 14th title. It's about doing anything to get his hands on Jinder, and he's going to hurt Jinder bad. He says he doesn't care if he ends Mahal's career, if he has to break this thing's neck, which practically he does, because, I mean, geez, he almost kills him. It's pretty brutal stuff. If he has to go to India and destroy the entire Mahal family, Jinder made a mistake, and now there's no turning back. I mean, Randy, you burned down Bray Wyatt's house. I'm just saying that helped you last time. I'm not trying to insinuate anything. I'm just saying maybe you need to look to some alternatives there. I'm just throwing that out there. Anyway, next up we have Dolph Ziggler versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Honestly, in my opinion, hands down, the matchup of the entire evening, and honestly one of the better matches that we've seen involving Shinsuke and Ziggler. And I could be mistaken. You guys let me know in the comment section that I believe this is the second time we've seen them in one-on-one action. I could be wrong. I thought they've fought before on SmackDown after Backlash, but maybe that I'm just mistaken on that one. But still, regardless, matchup was fantastic. A lot of back and forth, commercial break in between. Shinsuke getting the win via the Kinshasa, and honestly one of the more brutal ones I've seen him hit in recent memory. Ziggler like almost hits in the zigzag, hits in a sleeper hold. Nakamura basically kicks out of it. Both men get hit to the back of the head. They get laid out. Nakamura hits up back in time and just brutal Kinshasa right to Dolph Ziggler's chin. 1, 2, 3, Nakamura with the victory. Again, Daniel Bryan backstage talking to Sami Zayn how he was awesome in the main event ladder match. He's going to match against Baron Corbin, the winner, next week. Then Becky Lynch rolls up and pleads her deal to Daniel Bryan about doing the right thing when it comes to the Money in the Bank women's matchup. Backstage, we also see Daniel Bryan, we also see Kevin Owens walking backstage, and he apparently has a U.S. Open challenge and gets on the mic, and he says that the only reason he's standing in the ring without the briefcase is because on Sunday night, the other 5 competitors conspired against him, ganging up on him because he knew he was the most dangerous man in the match. I mean, kind of right. He says what happened to him on Sunday wasn't fair, but he's in the ring with tonight unbroken and still the new face of America and still your United States champion. I think this is a very smart move for Kevin Owens to kind of proclaim this, because despite him losing at the pay-per-view 2 nights ago, he's still touting the importance and the prestige and honor and glory of the United States. How can you not love that face of America? Anyway, he says Shane McMahon loves to say that SmackDown is the land of opportunity, but the original land of opportunity was the United States of America, and that's why he's taking it as his duty to truly make SmackDown the land of opportunity. He says tonight he's going to give one lucky individual from Dayton, Ohio, a chance at his championship. Dayton, of course, where they're hosting SmackDown tonight. So, of course, comes AJ Styles from Ohio. Sure. He says it's unfortunate for Kevin Owens, but you know, what's better than being U.S. champion is, of course, AJ beating Kevin for the U.S. championship, and it's go time. Chaos says, you're rude, and also you didn't hear me very well, because I said it's for a local resident of Dayton only, and that's when Chad Gable of American Alpha comes out. Owens says he knows Gable isn't from Dayton, Ohio, and Chad says, well, actually, I just moved here this morning, and gave an Owens an address. AJ says, yeah, I know about his place, and then ring the bell, and we're off and running Chad Gable against Kevin Owens for the United States Championship in the U.S. Open Challenge. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I thought this was a very fun match to watch because, if anything, it made Chad Gable look like $1 million. Despite the fact that Kevin Owens wins once again with by a pinfall with a pump-up powerbomb. A lot of P's in that sentence. I thought Chad Gable looked fantastic, looked amazing in this matchup. Kind of makes me curious. Are they going to maybe split up American Alpha early? I mean, we did see Enzo and Cass split up last Monday night on Raw. Maybe we might see American Alpha split up with Chad Gable going the distance as well, too. Great athleticism, great just ability from Chad Gable against Kevin Owens, but still Kevin Owens retaining the U.S. Championship and possibly continuing his feud with AJ Styles. Backstage, we see the Hype Bros are going over Zack Ryder's injury in the #1 contenders match months ago, where Zack actually got injured. They basically made the case that because they actually won the #1 contendership for the tag team championships back when Zack got injured, they never technically and officially got their championship match. And so they're like, we don't really, there's no statute of limitations on this. We deserve it. We earned it, and we won it. Daniel Bryan makes it says, okay, the tags have kind of changed a lot, but it'll give them an opportunity to earn a shot next week. if they can beat the current champions, the Usos. So a lot of already packed SmackDown next week. We've got Naomi versus Lana rematch for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Usos against Hype Bros. If the Hype Bros win, they are the #1 contenders for the tag team titles. And now, and then on top of that, also, just a lot of stuff going on. Jeez. Anyway, moving on, we get to, of course, Daniel Bryan. Oh, and of course, Baron Corbin versus Sami Zayn next week as well, too. Back from commercial break, Daniel Bryan making his entrance to the ring. He thanks the crowd and says it's great to be back, but he wishes that he were here under different circumstances. He's been holed up with Shane McMahon and other officials for the last 2 days trying to sort out the whole women's Money in the Bank ladder match. He said he was told to keep his emotions out and stick to the rule book. He invites all of them to the ring and says that he says that the decision involves all the women involved in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Ladder matches are no DQ, and nothing in the rulebook says you can't have somebody climb the ladder and unhook the briefcase. All it says is the first woman to hold the briefcase is the winner of the match. He says there have been interferences in Money in the Bank ladder matches before, but that said, there's never one who's actually ever climbed the ladder and take the briefcase off and hands it to someone, so we're kind of in uncharted territory. Ellsworth asks what's gotten into Bryan. Being daddy to a little vegan hippie baby got him all soft. Daniel Bryan appropriately responds and says right up to his face and gets in his face and tells him to shut up. And if he talks about his baby girl one more time, he'll punch him in the face so fast he won't be able to breathe and will fire him. Carmella then starts to jump in. All the women starts battling against each other. And finally, Daniel Bryan says enough. He says that it was a historic match and Carmella has an opportunity to do a first-time thing ever again because she'll be the first woman to ever hand over the Money in the Bank briefcase. Bryan says he's not going to let someone like Ellsworth interrupt one of the most important moments in women's history and says basically next week we are going to have another Money in the Bank ladder match involving all 5 women again. Bryan then leaves and a brawl breaks out, essentially leaving the Princess of Staten Island with Charlotte and, Becky Lynch in the ring. Charlotte hits the natural selection and Becky Lynch almost breaks her arm with this armor as, of course, they all celebrate and we cut to the final matchup. We also found out later on Talking Smack after an intriguing segment between Carmella and Ellsworth that Ellsworth is now officially banned from ringside this matchup. So already a stacked SmackDown for next week. Baron Corbin versus Sami Zayn, the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. The Usos, Hype Bros win, they become the #1 contenders for the tag team titles, and Lana, Naomi, round 2, women's championship on the line. Whole lot of craziness going on there. But of course, time for the main event, Jinder Mahal against Luke Harper. I'll be completely honest with you guys, I was not a particularly big fan of Jinder Mahal. I thought Luke Harper looked fantastic in this match, but Mahal, really not a whole lot. While Mahal was dominating a lot of it, Harper did get an advantage early on, but Mahal coming back after Luke Harper basically took out one of the Sin brothers outside with a suicide dive, unfortunately. As the two men are all both laid out in the ring, Baron Corbin's music hits, and while we think we're going to see a cash-in, he actually just surrounds the ring, reminding Jinder that he's the Money in the Bank briefcase holder, and then walks away. Jerk move, but that's Baron Corbin, and I absolutely approve. Of course, more distraction. Harper gets a schoolboy pin for 2. Then a super kick fired up. Singh runs interference, and Jinder hooks him to get the 1, 2, 3 after hitting the Kalas, which is basically the Cobra Clutch Slam. That is his finisher now. As Jinder celebrates with the Sin brothers when Randy Orton makes his entrance, he fights the Sins off easily, gets in the ring off the ropes. Luthez presses right onto Jinder Mahal and starts beating the ever-living crap out of him. He hits an RKO, but of course he's just about to attack him once again in the ring, but that's when the Sin brothers jump him, and Orton takes out both Sin brothers and stands prominently tall as Jinder Mahal sneaks away, which is I'm actually surprised Jinder didn't think that was going to happen. We just saw this horrible, well, I shouldn't say horrible, but this angry interview with Orton about how he's been disrespected. You don't think he would go right after Jinder after his match? Just saying, hindsight's a little 20/20 on this one. I'm very intrigued and very interested to see how things go from here. Of course, Battleground is the next major SmackDown pay-per-view at the end of July. Looks like we're going to continue things with Randy Orton, Jinder Mahal. Tag team scene is going to be very interesting. I think the Hype Bros actually might get the win against Usos. We might see a triple threat at Battleground between New Day, Usos, and the Hype Bros. I think we see U.S. champion Kevin Owens and AJ continuing their rivalry. Nakamura, Ziggler was hands down the match of the night in my opinion, and honestly, not a big fan of them restarting the whole women's Money in the Bank ladder match. I think that they should have done, in my opinion, a fatal 4-way. Becky, Charlotte, Tamina, and Natalya. Winner faces Carmella for the briefcase, because essentially you're kind of just restarting the whole match for the sake of having it, and it kind of takes away from the pay-per-view match that we just had. But of course, these guys are just my opinions. Love to hear what you guys have to say. What do you guys think of this week's SmackDown? Daniel Bryan's decision to reverse the Money in the Bank briefcase and take the briefcase away from Carmella. Love to hear your thoughts about this and so much more, guys. Again, down in the comments section below. Make sure you follow myself on Twitter and YouTube and the entire OneWrestling.com family. All the links, again, for all of us are down in the description box below. Make sure you hit the subscribe and like button for all the amazing content we guys got here for you at OneWrestling.com. Of course, One Wrestling Videos YouTube channel as well, too. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button if you guys love SmackDown and the SmackDown Rebound. Of course, I'm Connor, aka OKAYFABE. Thank you guys for tuning back into another edition of the SmackDown Rebound. And to quote the legendary, the iconic Mr. Bill Apter, we will see you at the matches.